Wow. Hey, pura vida, mi gente. How you guys doing? Thank you for taking the time to be here. I appreciate everybody that's here right now listening. Those of you in the live chat, or if you watched it later, thank you for taking the time to do that. Appreciate it. Yeah, sometimes I like to go a little live earlier. We get a little different crowd. So I appreciate everybody that's tuned in. All right. We're gonna go ahead and continue reading a book we've been reading. Pretty good book. I think it's pretty awesome. Has a lot of good info, a lot of good drop, a lot of babies to pull out. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah. Aloha, aloha, pura vida. Hey, honor, warrior. What's up, John Cherokee, Millennials, Jason, Frank? How you guys doing? Gabby, J. Peer, my Cherry, Shayla. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah. So we're gonna get back into the book right here. And this is the book History of America Before Columbus, according to documents and approved authors by P. DeRue, member of the Archaeological Club, of the Land Van Ways, and of the United States Catholic Historical Society, honorary member of the American Catholic Historical Society of Philadelphia. This book is from 1900, but he has a lot of good sources. He's literally just quoting from primary sources, and scholarly sources. So that's why I really enjoyed this video. This book. Before I begin, though, just to let everybody know, 1 second. All right, hold on 1 second. Let me just pull up this tab. Okay. So now that we have at least 5 chapters, we have on this book, I created the playlist. So if you missed the previous readings, you can go ahead and just go to my playlist tab and search for the playlist called History of America Before Columbus. All right. And you'll be able to see the previous videos. A lot of good drop, I would say. A lot of interesting information that is matching, corroborating with all the research we've done on ancient America. More proof America is a true old world. We're not just talking about all these lands. Everybody, but all the lands are old. Pangea. Yeah, but there's still a center and an origin to everything, and that's what you're not understanding. But the funny thing is, the same people would say, "Well, Africa's the oldest." Oh, you didn't have a problem being biased back then, huh? Or with that statement, right? But now that we're saying it's actually in America, the true old world. Now you bringing up Pangea. Yeah. So also, shout out to UBTV, man. I just saw his video today. Really good. Uriah Brandon, I believe. Branson or Brandon. Yeah. UBTV, man. He does a lot of good work, presentation, very pro, documentary style. Go check it out. A lot of good visual imagery just to put everything into perspective. So I know how hard it is to do productions like that. So shout out to him. I've been watching his videos for a long time. And one of the brothers in the YouTube community that I respect, he's not full of hate or bashing others or slandering others or trying to debate others like other clowns trying to debate people about Harriet Tubman and posting and talking about come to my channel and debate me on this date, and that's the only date you have opportunity. Man, I don't even mention his name because I ain't giving him no clout or any viewership. But I will promote UBTV. I will promote 432 The Drop Radio. Legendary Cat. He keeps it respectful. He keeps it informational as well. So, those are the people I kind of have more respect for, other than clowns that always trying to clout chase and ask for money and slander and entertain and debate people. If you think that debating somebody else is on their channel, especially is actually helping in any way, you're just being fooled. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Yeah. So yeah, I know all the subliminal stuff people be saying, who they're directing it to. They're just not man enough to say the names, the people who they really talking to. Also, we all got contact, we all got different platforms, and I'm very easily reachable. So if you have a problem with me, you can easily reach me on Instagram, on Twitter, on Telegram, on my YouTube comments, on my email, and say, hey, you want to talk this out, brother? I disagree with you. I was like, all right, fine, let's get on a Zoom call and let's talk it over. Let's go over each other's information instead of trying to be ridiculous and challenge people and all that. Yeah, that's kind of corny to me. I'm like 42. How old are you, man? I know you're probably in your 40s too, man. Stop acting childish. Anyways, let's not get off topic. This is the playlist of the book we've been reading. If in case you missed the previous chapters, previous readings, History of America before Columbus. Welcome, 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 welcome. You know, you know. Shout out, take a look at my Instagram. If you guys don't know, I was able to reopen a new one. I had 11,000 followers before they shut me down, and it was Instagram. They locked me out, and then they try to blackmail me to get it back when it was already wiped. So I'm up to 3,500. And check out if you have Instagram. I'm there, Kurimeo_how, just like my YouTube channel. Reposting all my colorized images and other stuff, and some of the videos that are under an hour, I'm reposting them there as well. A lot of good little videos, quicker videos, for the people who don't like or want to sit down through the longer ones. Here you go, some of them my Instagram. If you like to support what I do, I got my Patreon page. Got a lot of exclusive videos there, especially the Chase R videos. Man, things are happening in the world, historical things that are related to this series. And I hope you guys don't realize how important it is. You think it's just happening over there in the so-called Middle East and the fake Holy Land, but it's closer to home, really. It affects the whole world. And that's the reason I do those videos. It's not just about, oh, poor people over there. And what about us, Kurimeo? Hey, man, humanity is humanity. Man, you got to have a heart, man. All right. I also share a lot of great books. This one we're reading today, Volume 1. We're still reading. We're gonna read most of Volume 1. We're gonna get into Volume 2 as well. So I've shared both volumes on my Patreon there. If you're interested, if you can't find it on your own on the internet, some people have trouble. Yeah. So I uploaded there. This is the whole new chronology, history of fiction or science from Anatoly Fomenko. 22 books, 22 PDFs right here, shared with you. Pretty great drops, a lot of babies to pull out of his books. We've already read literally part 1 or book 1 entirely. So if you haven't watched that playlist, go ahead and check it out. Go ahead and check it out as well. This is called False Chronology. Yeah. So check out the Patreon if you want to support in that way, or you can join the channel membership. YouTube takes 30% of everything, so but I don't mind you having you guys on the channel membership as well. I'm planning to do a lot more private vlogs there. I used to go out all the time. I just haven't done that in a while, but I used to go out all the time and travel in Costa Rica and show different parks and different beach areas and volcano springs and rainforests. So I plan to do that for my members only, blog a lot more personal stuff, even what I do in my home, how do I take care of myself with the health stuff, my natural living, things like that. So make sure to support me if you like to watch those videos, those private videos, because we don't want trolls in there. So that's why I make those moments private. All right. Before I begin reading today, right, we're gonna head over. Shout out to Joseph for sending this to me and letting me know. So there's this website, thegreekreporter.com, right? I'm sure a lot of you heard about it, and I'm sure they're watching. I'm sure they're watching. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna show you why. Right? Let me just zoom in real quick. All right. So, did ancient Greeks reach America long before Columbus? Before, right? Before. Then isn't this the history of America before Columbus, right? Before Columbus. The only thing is, of course, they're gonna say it in reverse. They gotta give. Uh, it's just a human thing to be biased to your own nation or your own country or your own people or your own area of the world. So, of course, they're gonna say, "Well, the Greeks came here," right? We're gonna read this article real quick. You're gonna read this article. You guys will see what I'm talking about. It says here that suggestion that ancient Greeks reached America before Columbus may seem far-fetched, but certain researchers think otherwise. Certain researchers. Who? The idea is based entirely on a new examination of a dialogue written by the Greek historian Plutarch, who lived from 46 to 119 AD. Like, you guys will see what video he's quoting that I have. Literally where we're quoting from Plutarch, right? And it's actually from this book we're reading today. And we did this 2 weeks ago. It says Dr. Ioannis Liditsis, a professor of archaeonomy, the physics of archaeology, at the University of the Aegean, studied Plutarch's text and came up with a theory that ancient Greeks did indeed reach America. All right. Plutarch's text on the face which appears in the orb of the moon is commonly known as the Fasci. In the dialogue, Lambrius asks Sylla, the Carthaginian, to retell a story he had heard from the servants of the temple of Cronus in Carthage. Sylla tells Lambrius about a traveler who visited the temple after returning from a long journey to a distant vast continent. It says Greek scientists claim Greeks voyaged to America. Dr. Liditsis bases his theory on scientific data in a paper co-written with astronomer Panagiota Preka Papadema, philosopher Konstantinos Kalachanis, meteorologist Chris Tassanis, and information technology consultant Panagiotis Antonopoulos. According to the traveler in the Fasci, new travelers would make the journey to the great continent roughly every 30 years. Roughly every 30 years, when the planet Saturn, which Greeks called Kronos, the Cronian Sea, Atlantic, North Atlantic, right? Remember the drop we got on the book Researches into the Lost History of America about the zodiacs and about the deities, the Greek deities, Kronos. Kronos was from here, you know, not like the deity, but what he represented, the geography, and the people they're calling Kronos. Remember, these are different peoples and what they're calling them, you know, Jupiter, Saturn, you know, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? We have the old videos, right? So they're saying, yeah, every 30 years when the planet Saturn, so they would come here, right? See, the thing is, he's saying it in reverse. I'm gonna show you, right? Appeared in the Taurus constellation. Dr. Liditsis and his colleagues claim that the ancient Greeks traveled to that continent, which indeed was North America, which indeed was North America. So ancient so-called Greeks were here, right? They knew about America. Atlantis, it's not just a myth, it's based on fact. So every 30 years, huh? And then shout out to Joseph again. When he sent this to me, he told me, I was like, yeah, that sounds like something I read. Like literally, right? So when was this article written? Right? November 17th, 2024. Hey, Philip, come on, man. You could have told us where you got it from, man. You didn't even know about this, but you're the Greek reporter, man. All right. So November 17th, 2024, right? We did this video right here. Ancient Greeks knew about America and when it was great. Make America great again when it was great. Prove Atlantis was part of the Americas, right? When we do this 2 weeks ago, so that's before November 17th. You know, he just did this article, guys. November 17, 2024. We did the video 2 weeks ago, right? Let's go real quick somewhere right around here. All right. We're just going to get this part real quick. Hold on. Touch the hijack with all this stuff right here. Okay. Let's pause the music real quick. We're going to get this. Make sure, let me know you guys hear it so you guys can see what we read. And this is, I believe, chapter 5 we read in this book. So let's go. And we're quoting Plutarch and all these people, like literally what he just said. Still, there is no scarcity of good reasons for its logical support. We have noticed already the probable immigration into northwestern Europe by both the American kitchen middens and the mound builders, right? Not just them, but you guys hear him, right? He has it already. He has it already set on his mind that hey, we know that these people went over there, so why not more ancient Americans going over to Europe and Asia, right? Plutarch adds in his dialogue of the face on the moon's disk that primitive Americans regularly made a voyage to European parts every 30 years. Primitive Americans going over there, not the other way around. All right. Are you guys listening? And all right, so you guys heard, right? Every 30 years, right? Just like they said over here. What did he say? Oh man, I lost it already. Where'd it go? So he's quoting Plutarch, right? They retelling the story. They visited the temple. Uh-huh. So roughly every 30 years. But he's saying the Greeks came here every 30 years when it was the other way around. We just read it, right? And we quoting Plutarch here every 30
Theo
years.
Cups. All right. How many more books again do I have to read? All these authors telling you the same thing, yet they want to say, oh, they must have come from Asia before that. This is Asia, the farthest east. Asia Major, India Superior, one of the three Indias, the main one, Superior. So every 30 years, he says, when the planet Saturn, which we call in that Greek word, and day or night watch, enters the sign of Taurus, the inhabitants of Cronian continent, Chronos, remember what we learned in research into the lost history of America. Chronos is from here, is a geography pertaining to America. So the inhabitants of the Cronian continent, more corroboration, dispatch certain representatives called Oceanades, is that the Oceanades, to be present at the feast which take place on the occasion in the island of Ogygia. The mission.
All right. So again, every 30 years. All right, this is from 2 weeks ago. This article, November 17th, just a couple days ago. They're saying it in reverse. Did ancient Greeks reach America before Columbus? Yeah, the actual book we're reading literally is called History of America Before Columbus. So again, we got a lot of drop. We got people all over the world learning. We got the Greek reporter learning from us. They won't say it, of course, because we show the true history, not the reverse fairy tales, right? And that's the reason. I just wanted to show that. Shout out to Joseph. Hey, Joseph, you caught him, man. Shout out to you, man. Somebody's talking about, right, Lemuria, right? You're talking about Lemuria, right? See, that's the thing about a lot of you. You just coming to my channel. You haven't really watched all my videos. All right. You haven't really watched all my videos, you know. And if you're new to my channel and talking about
Hay
Lemuria,
cosas que pueden
go ahead
esperar.
and
La
hold on.
vida no.
Sorry, guys. All right, this is the thing. You guys come to my channel, don't know the amount of research we've done, the amount of research, the amount of sources we've gone through, right? Pre-flood buried city of Mexico is the influence for the lost continent of Lemuria's story. William Niven. You don't even know who William Niven is. You're talking about Lemuria. If you don't know who William Niven is, I want to hear you say Lemuria. Because James Churchward, who wrote that book about Lemuria, he got his idea from the archaeological site that William Niven found in Mexico. We're talking about a city, a buried city, like 30 feet below the ground. You guys you don't know that. He found tablets that look like the Nakal tablets in the Hindu. That's why he based his whole story of Lemuria on. There was more land in the Pacific, but it was connected to the ancient American world. You guys don't know, just like in the Atlantic. So this is what I was saying earlier. People want to use Pangea when all their beliefs and all this other stuff gets corrected. And I'm telling you, yeah, it was connected. It's connected to the real ancient oldest land in the world, the ancient Americas. Okay, so watch this video And let me see his name again, just in case you don't know who I'm talking to. I just saw somebody. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? I'll get to the readings, guys. I'm sorry. Hey, Marv Alice. Yeah, watch this video, Marv Alice. Then come back to me. Right? Yeah. All right. I got an old one and a new one. Lemuria Kurimeo. Just put Lemuria Kurimeo. The old one's gonna pop up from 3 years ago, right? And then you got a newer one, which I read. I added a really good book to the new one, to that info. So go watch both of them if you want, but you only have to watch the one from last year, really. All right, all right, Marv. Yeah, guys, when you suggest things, make sure I haven't done a video about it, especially when you're new to the channel. All right, we've done over 1,000 presentations. We've been here almost 8 years. Nonstop research. I take this really serious. This is my passion. All right. That's where they get moved from, man. Lemuria is the same thing. That's where they get, what do you mean? The land of Mu was the same thing. They call it Lemuria. Ah, man, okay. I'm not gonna get distracted with the trolls. Oh no. We're gonna get right to the book. All right. So again, the Greek reporter watching the videos, the Greek reporter watching the videos, trying to reverse the history. You said it in reverse, man. That's not what we read, man. We said Americans were going over there every 30 years. Yeah, yeah. All right. All right. So we're gonna get to the book again. History of America before Columbus, according to documents and approved authors. All right. Welcome if you just joined us. You missed the beginning. Hey, go check it out so you can see what we were talking about. All right. So we're gonna go to chapter 7 today. All right. Chapter 7. Appreciate everybody in the live chat. This is a live premiere. Okay. Let me know if the music is ever too loud, more than my voice. Some people watching or hearing with headphones, it might be a little louder for them. Then just let me know. I'll put it down. Chapter 7. Discoveries of Europe by American natives. And I actually forgot. We literally 2 days ago, guys. 2 days ago, we did a video called Ancient American Travelers and Migrations, Oldest Homo Sapiens and Navigators, Diverse People. This is a whole different book. All right, this is a whole different book. It's called The American Discovery of Europe by Jack Forbes. We read a whole chapter 4 of that book. Watch how it's going to correlate with this other book we're going to read right now, this other chapter. Okay, literally. So it says here, it is a matter of course that the various ancient immigrants into America were acquainted with their native countries, as we are with England, Ireland, France, Germany, Belgium, etc. And no doubt the American progeny of those first settlers centuries after them, yet long before the Northmen and the Columbian discoveries knew of the Old World, which in comparison with their own continental home, they called an island. And they occasionally sailed over to it. All right. So, these authors, even though they say, hey, everything started here, all these gods, all these civilization, all this great science, knowledge came from here into the rest of the world. They always try to say, though, that somebody might have come here from Asia or something like that, because they say in America was uninhabited. They still go with that idea. But he just said it right here. He said the people of ancient America considered the rest of the world an island. We read this already in this book, and that this was the mother continent, the real continent. Okay? But he's saying they went over there we were going over there. Ancient Americans were traveling to other parts of the world. Okay. We have already spoken of the American kitchen middens, establishing settlements along the western coast of northern Europe, and the mound builders erecting their tumuli and other characteristic monuments in Ireland and Denmark. All right. Mound builders going that way. You hear that? How do they know this? Because the mounds here are older than the ones in Ireland. The science tells you. And Denmark, Scandinavia area. So when you're talking about Vikings and all that coming over here, discovering before Columbus, first of all, you can't discover a place where there's already people living, all right? Get that idea out of your head. Like, let's be logical. If there's already people here, how can you discover a place, right? And then remember what we learned in the other book, The American Discovery of Europe. They quoted a famous navigational historian and expert in navigation. He said if anybody was to cross the Atlantic first, it would have been American Indians. All right. Yeah, the snakes are from here, Red Room. Yeah, the Nagas, the ancient Nagas, the plum serpent, the snake dynasty, the snake Khans, the Khan dynasty, ancient America. Try to catch up. Try to catch up. So we got mound builders going over there, kitchen middens, all these tags they put on, going over there to Ireland and Denmark. Barnum admits the close resemblance which exists between numerous earthworks, sepulchral tumuli, implements of flint, and pottery found in the United States and in the North of America, and similar structures and fragments discovered in the countries bordering on the German Ocean and the Baltic Sea. Nadialak, and another of the many learned Americanists from whose evidence we might infer that from our continent settlers went over to northwestern Europe, although possibly the contrary might be the fact in above-mentioned class. It is not necessary to repeat the statements of Plato, right? Plato was talking about the Americas the whole time. We got that drop on the last chapter, from which it would appear that about 12,000 Egyptian years before Christ, the inhabitants of our continent, through the medium of their relations with the Atlantic Empire, entertained for a long time in regular intercourse with the most important portions of Africa and Europe, okay? All right, ancient Americans populating the world or influencing the world, who's the so-called gods that brought corn all over the world, corn, nutrition, agriculture. Agriculture is what helps you settle down and become civilized. If you don't understand that yet, that part of civilization, when you're talking about the beginning of civilization, was because of agriculture, which is very ancient in the Americas. 600 out of 640 food crops in Africa originated in the Americas, period. Yeah, so, let's try to stay on topic. I might start timing people out if they go way off topic. We want to definitely pay attention to this topic today. If after I'm done reading this chapter, we can probably get into all that stuff. So Plato got the story from so-called ancient Egyptians. Ancient Egypt was here. Again, shout out to UBTB. He literally said it on his video today. When I say ancient Egypt, he said, I'm talking about that this is the old world. This is the true biblical lands and things like that. And we agree. I agree with that, definitely. All right. So, get out your feelings if that affects you in some way, saying that the ancient Egypt was here. Yeah, we're not talking about the theme park they built over there. I really believe that was like one of the first world fairs they built over there. They're retelling a story. They got corn and American animals all over those hieroglyphics. They're just retelling a story. Like a university, you go and learn about the true old world, the Americas. All right. Welcome if you just caught alive. So we were mingling, entertaining for a long time, Africa and Europe. Nay, that they were the rulers of the old world. Nay, that they were the rulers of the old world until the courage and military skill of the Greeks and destructive elements of nature combined drove them back to the west and into relative oblivion. Who were the rulers of the world? He's talking about ancient Americans, guys. Read the paragraphs right in front of you. They were the rulers of the so-called old world. Yeah, when you study maize and corn, it's going to lead you to the Americas, the true old world. Until what happened? Until something happens, some wars and cataclysms, they're saying. Let it be added that if the severe critic, von Humboldt, does not expressly admit Plato's political relations of the two continents, he yet acknowledges the fact of an eruption into Europe from the West and of a gigantic war between the peoples of both the east and the west side of the Straits of Gibraltar. Dr. Arbois de Jubainville, an authority for the statement of another American invasion of Europe. One day, he says, the aborigines of America concluded to cross the Atlantic and landed 10 millions in number. Listen, 10 millions in number on the shores of the Hyperboreans, Northern Europe, the colder places, right? Whom they overpowered at once and surveyed all their country. That's where they get all these mythical legends in the Scandinavian areas, about what's it call it? Thor, Loki, Wotan. Listen, Wotan, Pakal Wotan, Wotan. They asked information from them in regard to the Eastern world and were told that the Hyperboreans were the happiest of all nations of Europe, Africa, and Asia. Hearing this, the Americans went back without making any further explorations or conquests. The first record of this remarkable event is from Theopompus of Chios and was saved by Aelianus Claudius. Silenus related to King Midas many wonders of the great continent and of the two cities, Maximus, the warlike, and Euseus, the city of peace, and how the inhabitants of the former once made an attack upon Europe and came first upon the Hyperboreans. But learning that they were esteemed the most holy of the dwellers in that island, they had them in contempt, detesting and abhorring them as naughty people of preposterous properties and damnable behavior, and for that cause interrupted their progress, supposing it an enterprise of little worthiness, or rather none at all, to travail into such a country. There is what is called the Egyptian theory, pretending that America was settled from Egypt. Listen, we can't make this up, boss. Yo, shout out to Drop. We can't make this up, boss. Ancient Egypt was here. So yeah, that whole influence eventually went over there. They built their theme park, modern fake Egypt. Yeah, but the knowledge, the science, what the mythology, who these people are, their deities are all Westerners, all American animals they depicting on their heads. Yeah, definitely settled. America definitely settled so-called Egypt. But John T.C. Heaviside in his American Antiquities, or the New World, the Old, and the Old World, the New, listen, the Old World, the New, maintains the reverse theory, namely of the Egyptians being migrated Americans. What? The Egyptians being what? Migrated Americans. Tamari, the real name of ancient Egypt, what the people called the land was Tamari, Tamer, the beloved land. Not so-called Egypt, that's a so-called Greek word. And that means Temple of Ptah. Temple of Ptah, which was in Memphis. Don't we have a Memphis right here next to our great river? Mississippi means great river. In the Ojibwe Algonquin language, the Nile, the Greek word Nile, means great river. It's the same thing. You guys got to wake up. I'm trying to tell you. Don't be missing out on the info just because you want to hold on to old beliefs. We got to evolve. We've been taught a wrong history. It's time to wake up. Shout out to Dev D. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. Be this as it may, it is according to linguistic evidence highly probable that Americans not only sailed to Europe, but very highly probable but established there a settlement which endures to this very day. We mean the small peculiar nation of the Basque in the northwestern portion of Spain, the Basque, huh? That's future videos. We got a good investigation we're gonna do on the Basque. They still can't figure out where the Basque came out of, why their language is so unique, and how they're saying a lot of them are probably Atlanteans coming from Atlantis. Where's Atlantis? Where's Atlantis, right? They also have the Basque Pidgin Algonquin language. They can talk to each other. You guys know that? Algonquin and Basque can literally understand each other a little bit. So with the Basque, is a deep research there we're going to do in future videos, which hits close to home for a lot of us. If you guys don't know, a lot of the surnames end up being Basque that we carry here in the Americas. And these people most likely are ancient Americans either way. Okay? Either way. So it's like a full circle. All right? Pura vida, mi gente. So ethnologists are puzzled at the existence of this tribe on the boundaries of two powerful kingdoms to which they seem to be unwilling to sacrifice their customs or their language especially. Linguists almost universally declare that the Basques are Americans. Listen, it's not me saying this stuff, guys. People who study philology, the study of languages, linguists almost universally declare that the Basques are Americans, perhaps survivors of Plato's Atlantis, but no Europeans. The Arbors refers to the authority of Mr. Whitney, one of the most noted linguists of this century, to assert that no European dialect resembles the Basque language and grammatical structure so closely as the Aboriginal American languages. Body bag for the illusion. Yo, shout out to Drop, yo. Yeah, again, we're gonna have a future research, future videos on the Basque, learning a lot. Gotta put things together, put the pieces together. I got some references and they're mostly in French. That's the unfortunate part. And it's hard to translate and the books are hard to find, but I got some sources of people already saying they came from the Americas, that the languages are very similar to the ancient Aboriginal, as they're saying here, American languages. Talking about the Basques are very indigenous people, one of the oldest people in Europe, and they're pre-Roman, pre a lot of things, colonizing nations. Short remarks that it is worthy of note that several eminent scholars have observed the remarkable similarity of grammatical structure between the Central American and certain transatlantic languages, especially the Basque, and some of the languages of Western Africa, okay? Who are Western Africans really? They've been telling history in reverse. It's not out of Africa, it's into in general. And I've shown that with a lot of the nations. Already I got like 3 or 4 videos showing you what their own oral stories tell, what their own historians, their local tribal historians are saying, not what a Pan-African is from the Americas or somebody who don't know anything about history is saying. We're talking about their own people saying, we're not from here. We came from India. We came from, the ancient America. We came from Palestine. We came from Persia, Ceylon. We came from Vietnam. We came from, hey, this is real history, guys. Much as it hurts you to even think about that. Bastian likewise states, under the authority of the learned Vater, that no language, no so much as that of the Basques and of the Congolese, resemble the language of the American Aborigines. Woo, man. And they've been telling us in reverse, and the Pan-African will say, well, yeah, that's because we went from Africa all over the world, But you got no real history or research about for that. You can't even prove that. Yeah, when we're talking about a mother continent or grandma continent, we're talking about the oldest land out of the waters. We're talking about the start of civilization through agriculture. Talking about the oldest pyramids, oldest mummies, So much of the oldest, man. We're talking about the biblical lands. Again, shout out to UBTV. Go check out that video he did today. It was really good. After this, it was really good. Shout out to him, man. Shout out to all his videos are really good, actually. So the Basque and Congolese languages resembling no other than the languages of the American Aborigines, not modern, the ancient Americans. Pascal relates the opinion of Paul Broca, saying that the Euskara, the language of the Basque, stands quite alone or has mere analogies with the American type. He got a footnote for that, right? We got sources for days, Races of Men by Winchell. We got that book. We're gonna get into all these books, guys, eventually. This is why I'm doing this. We're gonna read books, whole chapters and stuff, so we can analyze everything. I got all these books downloaded just in case archive.org starts hating again and goes and they take it down again. The New American Encyclopedia is more frankly in accord with the learned generally when it states that the Euskara has some common traits with the Magyar, Osmanli, and other dialects of the Ural-Altaic family. For instance, with the Finnic in the Old World, as well as with the Algonquin Lenape languages and some others in America. Okay? We got a whole series on this. The philology research we've done. I got a whole video, a whole playlist. Go check out my playlist, guys. We read this great book, and he was showing how many ancient American languages are related to other nations in the world. And he's connecting which ones were connecting with other ones. And the Magyar, yeah, going back to South America. More classical versions of these languages. For this reason, the Basques are classed by some writers with the remains of the Finnic stem of Europe in the Lubeck family of nations, and by others in that of the Allophile race. We will see hereafter that the North Asiatic and European Finns were among the first peoples to pass to our Western Hemisphere in a westerly direction, about the same time that kindred tribes entered the American continent across Bering Strait. So, again, we gotta dodge the hijack sometimes, pull out the babies. This author's still trying to say, even though when they got to America, they started civilization and all these great things, and then went out from there and spread it to the rest of the world. They always try to say, oh, they must have come from Asia first. That part, this author can't explain, or when it happened. Now we're talking about Bering Strait theories. Remember, this is from 1900, this book. So we already debunked that completely, right? Didn't they just find footprints in New Mexico, almost 30,000 years old, 22,000 years old, footprints in New Mexico? That's way before the so-called Bering Strait crossing. 22,000 years ago is when supposedly there was ice caps covering the Bering Strait. So that goes down the drain. We know the great work of Graham Hancock. We know the books I've read about all the ancient sites they found here. They got one in South Carolina, almost 50,000 years old. North Carolina, 30,000 years old. And Mexico and Brazil, showing human habitation. We got the Huitzilopochtli site in Mexico where they're finding a bone inscribed with an elephant on it. Only humans can do that. We got the ones in California, same thing, showing mastodons and all this stuff with human activity, over 130,000 years old. So that whole Bering Strait thing is debunked already. That whole out of Africa theories. So again, these are all theories, right? I just want you to remind you, that's why they call them theories. The Bering Strait theory, the out of Africa theory. And if you don't know, a theory is not a fact. In case you don't know that, in case you're still running with that, theories are not facts. It is more than likely also that the Allophile race was represented in America by the Ainos of Yeso. Ainos, Taino, Yeso. Ainos, which sounds like the Ainu people of Japan, right? Yeso. Ainos of Yeso who found their path along the Kural and the Aulatian Islands. Red Paint people going all over the world. We should therefore find no objection to the conclusion of learned linguists considering the Basques as either Finns or Ainos, provided, however, that it be granted, on the other hand, that they are descendants of these primeval nations through the medium of the American Lenapes or the Atlantides of Plato. All right. Because ethnology teaches us that the Allophilians were driven eastward, while there is no vestige whatever of the Finnic family having ever migrated from its northern home in the Old World to the southwestern portions of Europe. All right, so even a lot of YouTubers, I'm not gonna say their names, right? Because I know you guys, some of you watch these people, but they're with that whole Finnish, out of Ireland kind of theory. Again, those were just islands scattered here and there when America was already out fully and developed with nations and civilization. Yeah, we went over there, right? Make sure you catch up on all the drop. Gotta have a clear perspective, a right orientation. Nor can it easily be admitted that the Finns and cognate tribes should have migrated from their original country at northwestern Asia. So the history, the research doesn't show that these people are older. All the way through Persia, Egypt, Northern Africa, Spain, France, Prussia, and Russia, to finally settle again on the borders of the Arctic Ocean. You see that? So he's saying that's what they teach people. Oh, they went from here, then they went to the rest of the world, then they came back to the to that area of the Arctic Ocean. That's the hijack. And should on their long journey have left behind in sunny Spain a few stragglers to become the founders of the curious Basque nation. Because that's what people try to say. The Basques originate from the Finns, and he's letting you know, no, they didn't. It makes no sense when you do real research. It makes no sense. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. We leave it to the learned Belgian missionaries to further inquire into the linguistic and blood relations between the Aborigines of Congo and those of America, which are indicated by the foregoing quotations. But it is proper to observe that, while in the horizontal section of the hair of the elongated ellipse characterizes the Negro, the oval form belongs to the Aryan, and the circle denotes the American. The section of a Basque hairs refers him to the American family. So here is when we dodge the hijack, when he adds his opinion, right, and other people's opinion on how they classify people in the world with their races. You know, that's very new, especially in his time. That was from the 1800s. That's a whole hijack we're going to break down. We have broken it down a little bit in past videos, but you can't go off of that. That's a generalization saying all Americans have the same hair, saying all Negroes have the same hair. That's not right. That's bad research. That's a generalization. We have no record to prove that any national intercourse took place between America and Europe since the American settlement of Biscay or the glorious victories of prehistoric Athens. But there is ground for the supposition that the Americans never lost sight of the route to the Old World, and that for a long time they kept up some business relations with it. Certain it is that even within historic times, their daring vessels landed on various occasions at European points, and we cannot help declaring that we feel repugnant to admit, as sole factor of ancient transatlantic voyages, the storms and winds, which still to this day are well known to engulf many a frail ship, but carry no longer an Esquimau fishing craft in all safety across the Atlantic Ocean. Remember about the currents are more favorable going that way from America to Europe to Africa. The winds are more favorable. It's 4 times harder to come back the other way. This is from an expert in navigation. One of these well-authenticated voyages was recorded by Cornelius Nepos in his historical fragments, as stated by 2 subsequent authors. Pliny says the northern circumnavigation is spoken of by Nepos, who narrates how the king of Swabians made a present to Quintus Metellus Celer, once a colleague of the consul L. Afrianus and proconsul of Gaul at the time, of some Indians who had left their country on a trading voyage and had been swept by tempests into Germany. Okay? Indians. Listen. Remember, a lot of Indians, we got already the drop in previous videos. We're getting caught up in the Gulf streams and storms and ending up in Europe, in the Iberian Peninsula, even in West Africa. Since ancient times, again, the currents are a lot stronger, the winds are a lot stronger going that way. And not only that, but beans, foods, wood. They found ancient American wood being used in these old settlements in Europe. People building their house out of them. We're talking about beans growing on the coast that are only native to America. They even became part of the European landscape on the coast because they were so much was washing over for so many years. They were starting to grow. So Indians washing ashore, swept by tempests into Germany, and that's from a primary source, guys. Like, this is people telling you this. This is stuff they don't teach us in school. Another author of the 1st century after Christ, Pomponius Mela, quotes the same passage in a slightly different manner. Besides Homer and the natural philosophers, he says, who assert that the sea surrounds the whole world, there is also Cornelius Nepos, whose authority is all the greater for being so recent. This writer calls up as witness Q. Metellus, who told that when he was proconsul of Gaul, the king of Bavarians gave him certain Indians, and that by inquiring he had learned that they had arrived from the seas of India, and after having sailed all the way, had finally set foot on German soil. All right, the seas of India, right, the land of India, India Superior, ancient America. You guys understand that India, the country today, they got their name quite recently. Let me see if I think I look at that right now. Okay. It's something you must understand. Something you must understand. Etymology online, right? India. And they talk about today's modern interpretation, right? India, Greek region of the Indus River, later a region beyond its Indus. Okay, but then down here, look what it says. The more common Middle English form was Inde or Inde from Old French, here Indies. The form India began to prevail again in England from the 16th century, perhaps under Spanish and Portuguese influence. From 1947, all right, 1947, in reference to the Republic of India. That's when India started to be called India, the one we know of today. 1947, all right? So when we're talking about some ancient Greeks or Romans or even Columbus talking about he's going to India, he wasn't talking about the one named India in 1947, guys. There's something very logical that a lot of you have a lot of trouble understanding. It was called Hindustan. It was called Bharat, Turan, but not India. And then in the Middle Ages, we had the 3 Indias. We got videos on this. Shout out to Drop. He's done a lot of research. Yeah. And again, Hindustan was named India in 1947. Not when Columbus was around, and not when these, quoting these ancient Greeks, ancient Romans telling you that he had some Indians. He showed them some Indians who had come from the seas of India. They had come from the seas of India or India Superior, North America. Okay? The seas of India, and after having sailed all the way, had finally set foot on German soil. And look at the references in the sources. See document, he has sources for this stuff. This stuff they don't teach us in school. Because then we'll be like, whoa, hold up. What do you mean they got American Indians washing up on shore over there? So what do you mean they didn't know about America? So what do you mean Columbus was lost? So-called Columbus. He was never lost, man. He knew where he was going. He had read all these documents. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. He knew about all this stuff. He had met Indians in Ireland in the 1470s. In the 1470s, before he traveled to the Americas. What do you mean he didn't know where he was going? He wasn't lost. He was financed. It was a business venture. People don't take risks like that. I ain't gonna finance him and all that. Plus, these people were Sephardic Jews and Moors. They had to find a place to go because they were getting kicked out of Spain and Portugal. All right? Understand real history. We're not talking about the so-called white man invaded us, discovered. He didn't discover anything. You can't discover a place that already has people. Already has people. Quintus Metellus, who had no idea of the eastern coast of America, was misled by the Asiatic features of his Indians and was afterwards Columbus and mistook them for natives of the southeastern part of Asia. Look what they're saying. That's the Haja. We had every look here. Didn't Verrazano, let me see if I can find that. Didn't Verrazano say something about the appearance of the Indians? Yeah, I'm gonna show you guys that. Okay, since we're live today, we're just gonna take the time. Hope you guys not in a hurry. Okay, what happened? Wow, they just closed my Safari window. That's messed up. 1 second. I'm gonna show you with Verrazano. This is good because I hope there's a Pan-African trying to argue to me in the comments today, in my comments, trying to say somebody was called Ethiopian. I was like, that doesn't mean anything. Ethiop meant burnt skin, reddish brown complexion, reddish brown, copper colored. That's what it meant. Okay, let me show you this from Verrazano from 1524. Who's Verrazano? You know, one of those Sephardic Moorish people coming to the Americas, right? So from the book, and this is in the New York State Local History source leaflets prepared by the Division of Archives and History, Verrazano's voyage along the Atlantic coast of North America, the whole eastern coast, right? And he says about the American Indians there, some wear certain garlands of feathers of birds. They are of dark color. You see that right here, guys? They are of a dark color. Let me zoom in, in case you guys don't see that. They are of a dark color. And he says, just like, not much like, unlike the Ethiopians. Not much unlike the Ethiopians, just like the Ethiopians. Just like an Ethiopian. Right? And hair black and thick hair. Thick hair. So that's what I was just saying earlier about you can't generalize and say all the Indians had one type of hair, man. That's like totally wrong. Right? This is a primary source. The Pan-African guy was asking me for my comment section. I wasn't gonna entertain him. I said, you know what, man? You obviously don't watch my videos because we've shown many references of that, of Indians being called just like Ethiopians. All right, we're not talking about people from Ethiopia. That doesn't mean a place, right? That doesn't mean a place. Let's go back to the etymology, right? Ethiop, Negro, long supposed and popular to be from to burn. Face, fiery looking, later sunburned. Or when you're sunburned, you get like reddish, you know, that's literally they were talking about. You know how the people in Ethiopia, they call them, you see how they have like this reddish, dark brown. That's what they're talking about when they're saying Ethiopian, not a place, especially in ancient times. Because even the country Ethiopia, let me see, was named quite recently too. That was named quite recently too, Ethiopia. Let's see, we got it here. Some 1680s, 1650s. It's not here, but it got named quite recently too, just like India. Just like India. I'm trying to tell you, look it up. Look it up. Verrazano said the Indians on the eastern coast of North America were of dark color, not much unlike the Ethiopians, and hair black and thick, and not very long, which they tie together back on their head in the shape of little tail, right? And another part of his book, he says about some other Indians, he says, which young man learned of this people that they are thus of dark color, like the others. They are of dark color, like the others, just like the others. The flesh more lustrous, of medium stature, the face more clear-cut, much more delicate of body and other members, of much less strength and even of intelligence. All right, that's the hijack. So what are we reading again? A primary source from 1524. Verrazano's voyage along the Atlantic coast of North America. Back to the book. So, Asian features, huh? Asian features? What do you mean by Asian? It was believed, as appears from Pliny and Mela, that they had circumnavigated Siberia, then entered the Caspian Sea. So we're talking about these Indians that washed ashore in Europe, eventually made their way to Germany. This is way before Columbus. Supposed to be from the first century, talking about the 100s ADs. That's the hijack with their chronology, yo. So they supposedly circumnavigated through Siberia, then entered the Caspian Sea, which was considered as the Gulf of the Arctic Ocean, and finally wandered wonderfully enough into Germany. Gomara was the first to trace home the American merchants, held in captivity by the Roman proconsul. They were of Labrador. He says, and the Romans mistook them for Indians. They were from Labrador. Well, they are Indians if they're from Labrador. Isn't Labrador in North America? Because of their color. Because of their color. Oh, they mistook them for Indians because of their color. You mean like, unlike, just like an Ethiopian, dark of color? The learned have generally admitted both the report of Cornelius Nepos and the interpretation of the Spanish historian, as among others von Humboldt, Horn, Maltebrun, and Hettinger, who quotes a Wagner, in asserting that the Esquimau canoes have landed in Norway and on the shores of the Baltic Sea. All right. Yeah, let's not mention the Chazars if anybody is. We're trying to make the video stay up. So, we had a troll right in the beginning before I started talking about, he said he never seen a black Indian. First of all, black is a crayon color. Nobody's really black. Nobody's really white. And if you're still basing your nationalities on crayon colors, then you are very uninformed and unresearched, and you don't really know anything about people or nations. Yeah, that's true. When you talk about Asian features, the very first Africans are Khoisan. The Khoisan are very Asian looking. Even the Dinka, I believe, are very Asian looking. That's what I was saying. A lot of those people came from Asia into Africa before we thought, before they teach us that, oh, these are Africans, they've been here for years, they came out of or evolved from so-called apes, right? That's what they tell us. They tell us that we all evolved from apes, and then the Africans evolved first from apes, and then they spread throughout the world. And we believed that for how many years? We ran with that. Like, we didn't ask questions. We didn't ask questions, man. Hey, Scion Train, man. I'm sorry I missed that, man. Thanks for the donation. Appreciate it, man. You're very welcome. Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate you very much, man. I hope you're still there. You said Marley's that you. Platoni, man. You paying attention, man? You just got here and you're going off topic already, man. Come on, bro. Come on, brother. I hate to pick on you always, but you kind of always do these things, man. Yeah. Scion Train, whether he's Marley or not, yo, it would be awesome, but let's stay on topic, man. Like, Shout out to the Marley family because I know they be following Drop. He was wearing Drop's shirt, most high over everything, you know, with his mom. What's her name? Come on. I forgot. I can't believe I forgot her name. From the Fugees. From the Fugees, the girl from the Fugees. You know what I'm talking about, guys. I can't remember her name. But that's his mom. She got with a Marley. They had a son. His son is older now, you know, he's an adult, and he be down with Drop. Be down with the most high over everything. Wow. Okay. Oh, sorry guys to keep going off. I'm just like I like interacting when I'm live sometimes. You know, make sure we do this and we interact with the people in the chat. Yeah. So Indians from Labrador, he got mistaken because of their color. The learned have generally admitted both the report of Cornelius Nepos and the interpretation of the Spanish historian, as among others von Humboldt, Born, Matilda and Hedinger, who quotes A. Wagner, in asserting that the Eskimo had made it all the way to Norway and the shores of the Baltic. In fact, records have been kept of some of these curious arrivals into Europe in later years, but considering the relatively great number, we might suspect of negligence. The annalists of the first Christian centuries, when we find no report any more of Americans crossing the Atlantic Ocean until we reach the 12th century of our era. Otto, Bishop of Frisingen, who died in the year 1158, relates that under Frederick Barrosa, or the Redbeard, right, or Rosebeard, his contemporary, a vessel from India carrying Indian merchants landed her adventure in Lubeck, a port of Germany. And again, right, so now you understand when they're saying India, who they talking about, right? A vessel from India, it's talking about India Superior, one of the three Indias, the Indies, East Indies, West Indies, talking about the North America, talking about the Americas, right? India didn't get named, the one we know today, until 1947. So don't tell me they're talking about that India. I mean, just because a lot of you don't want to be called Indian, don't mean what I'm saying is not true. You know, you don't have to call yourself Indian. The people of America had their own names for themselves. They had tribal names, tribal nations. We know that. All right. But when we're talking about Indians in ancient times, that's who they were talking about. They had made their way to Germany, these Indians. Galvano says in the year 1153, it is written that there came to Lubeck one canoa with certain Indians, like unto a long barge, which seems to have come from the coast of Bacalaos, right? You guys don't know? Codfish, bacalao, cod, Newfoundland. A lot of codfish there, right? The bacalaos was called that. Bacalao in Spanish is literally codfish, where you make the saltfish from in the Caribbean islands, that food, that famous dish, really, really tasty, right? Saltfish, bacalaos, a lot of that is found in Newfoundland, which stands in the same latitude that Germain does. Aeneas Sylvius, afterwards Pope Pius II, copies the same report of Otto of Frisingen and his description of Asia and Europe, from which it was probably taken by subsequent historians and geographers, such as Gomara, von Humboldt, and Gaffarel, who places the event in the year 1160. In this latter particular, the French historian agrees with Sir Humphrey Gilbert, from which we might suppose the former voyage to have been a financial success, and the American merchants, who's the merchants? Who's the ancient merchants, huh? To have soon landed in Lubeck again. All right. Ancient seafaring people, so-called Phoenicians, seafarers. Nor can we object the frailty of the Esquimau boats against the possibility of their extensive sea voyages, for we have records commanding the highest respect and stating that in the year 1189, 14 men sailed between the icebergs from Greenland to Iceland in a kayak that was nailed together with wooden pegs and sewed up with animal sinews. Hey, Ambush Predator, appreciate you, man. Thank you for the donation. Yeah, there you go, Lauren Hill. That's what I'm saying. I can't believe I couldn't remember her name, man. That's one of my wife's favorite singers, from back in the day. Very talented singer, very a great voice, I would say. Yeah, and she's down with the Most High over everything. Her son definitely is. Her grandchildren will be too. Most High over everything. The captain of this craft was called Asmundus Kastandratzius, who sailed from the Greenland, crossed islands, and safely landed in the Icelandic haven of Breiðafjörð. So remember how close Greenland is to the Americas. Or if you're already in Greenland from America, right? You're right there, right next to each other. Then you're already in Iceland, literally close to Greenland, and then Iceland is literally close to Northern Europe. So why wouldn't people be able to go back and forth during those times? Just think about how illogical it would be not to. Like, they don't really make us think logically in school. Oh, it's impossible. Like, Columbus was the first, so-called Columbus, right? Salvador Fernandes Sarco, the Sephardic Portuguese Jew, so-called black man. Before that feat, he had visited the Finns in the northern parts of Russia. And in the year 1190, he left Iceland again, but his kayak was not heard of since. He stayed in America, probably. He's like, why am I going to keep traveling? I'm in this beautiful place here in the Americas. I'm going to just stay here. Probably wifed up a beautiful Indian princess, or not even a princess, but, why would you keep going back and forth? Others of his countrymen lost their vessel on dry land, for as James Wallace relates in his account of the Orkney Islands, an Esquimau canoe was preserved in the church of the island Burra, one of the Orkneys, where the Aborigines of Greenland were known under the name of Finmen. So these Aborigines of Greenland, a lot of blood ties and connections to the people of America. We're just talking about ancient Americans, what they call them Finmen, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. People say, "Oh no, the oldest is the Finmen and the Irish," and you're seeing it. You're not going back far enough, man, and you're a little biased. And because the main thing is because you assume all these people are so-called white or pale skin, and that's why you want the history to be with them. If you only knew, if you only knew. In like manner, von Humboldt, in his views of nature, refers to well-authenticated cases of American natives supposed to have been from Labrador or Greenland, who had been carried by currents from the western to the eastern continent. There is still this day a canoe in the museum of Mariscal College, Aberdeen, which was picked up by a ship on the Aberdeen coast, with an Esquimau in it, still alive and surrounded by his fishing gear. Bastian borrows from Pallas the information that the Esquimaux were driven or sailed to the Orkney island Edda as late as the year 1680. But Gaffarel, who follows the account of Wallace, places this visit another, perhaps 2 years later. Still, both agreed to record at that date of 1684 one more voyage of the people of northeastern America to Westry, another island of the Orkney groups. The latter adds that one of their kayaks was placed on exhibition in the city of Edinburgh. Several authors are of the opinion that commercial interests were the object of these American voyagers, all right? Commercial interests. They're not lost. They're not just like getting washed by the storms. They're literally planning to go, hey, let's go over there. Let's do some business, some commercial trading business. Let's bring some corn, some turkey, some cotton. Yeah, because they don't have none of that over there. And we feel inclined to think that they were simply occasional instances of an uninterrupted business intercourse between northeastern America and the northern islands and peninsulas of Western Europe. Peninsulas, which include the Iberian Peninsula. Uninterrupted business. Again, who's the ancient merchants and why did the Sephardic Jews and all these people from Iberia have so many connections to seafaring and become merchants themselves, and had all these ports and were the ones used during colonization. It goes back to ancient times. This intercourse, as we shall notice farther on, had commenced before the 8th century after Christ, and not unlikely long before our era, as Plutarch would allow us to suppose, and the relative narrowness of the North Atlantic Channel, together with the proximity of its archipelagos and capes, would prompt us to admit. There we go, Plutarch, just like the Greek reporter is trying to say, Plutarch said it in reverse, and they're watching the video knowing we were going over there and back and forth. 30 years, every 30 years. It is not, however, to their neighboring European islands only that ancient Americans directed their prows. They had been noticed also in more southern latitudes. Cardinal Peter Bembo relates in the year 1508 as a curiosity that whilst the Europeans were discovering various parts of the western continent, again, you can't discover a place where there's already people. So that's the colonizing, conquering, exploring maybe. Yeah, exploring. The Americans were exploring the shores of Eastern. So while that is going on, they're coming trying to colonize, right? Americans were exploring the shores of the Eastern. We were going over there too. They leave that part out of history, right? They left that out of our schools, teachings, in our history classes. They didn't tell us they were going back and forth. They just told us Europeans were coming over here when we were going over there before them and during the time they were coming. Whilst a French vessel was sailing near the coast of Brittany, he says it took up a skiff built of saplings, split in two and covered with solid bark of trees, and containing 7 men of small size and of a dusk, a dusk color, right? Dusk color. Dusk color. Can't make this up. Can't make this up. Talking about Indians too, right? Dusk. Partial darkness. Dark. Dark. Dusk is always related to dark. When you say somebody is dusk, they mean he's dark complexion. Obscure, not bright. Tending to darkness. Darkness, shadowy. Darkness. Dark. Dark colored. The guy in the beginning of my videos like, I never seen a so-called black Indian. Well, because nobody's black, that's why. They were dark, they were copper colored, they were mahogany, unlike an Ethiopian, whatever you want to call it. Dusky, tawny, swarthy, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to prefer. Dark colored, dark, dust colored, again, dark colored, dusk, etymology, learn what words mean. Learn what words mean. But Kurimeo, swarthy just means hair, black hair. Dark colored. Swarthy. Swart. Black, being of a dark hue. Swarthy. Swartz, dark colored. Black. So-called black. I've never seen a black Indian, but I have seen a swarthy one. Chestnut, mahogany, cinnamon, copper colored, you know, many descriptions. Brown, dark copper, whatever you want to describe it. We just talking about so-called black. So-called black. So-called black. Right? Let's go back. So off the coast of Brittany and lower France and the border of Spain and Britain and France, they found Indians, 7 of them, of small size and of a dusk color, dark complexion. Okay? Indians. The faces of these men were broad and marked with violet streaks. They were dressed in fish skins covered with stains. Now listen to this. Fish skins. What does that make me think of? You know how they tell us these ancient Anunnaki or these seafaring people, the gods, they came, they had fish scales on them, fish clothing, right? Fish skins, fish clothing, eagle heads, eagle heads. I'm gonna show you guys at the end, right? These Anunnaki had scales, right? And they had fish heads, or they look like eagles, eagle men. Oh, I'm gonna show you who dressed up as eagle warriors, just to remind y'all. All right. See, that's the thing. They dumbed us down. Oh, those are just aliens, Kurimeo. They're not talking about real people. They're just talking about, Birdman and fish people, man. The doggone, yeah, you go, the doggone. That's what I'm talking about. Because we're live, let's just keep doing this. Get a perspective. Let's just get a perspective, right? Doggone statues. Let's see. They're not trying to give it to me. They ain't trying to give it to me. I'm over here in the browser. 1 second, guys. There we go. This is one of them. They didn't even give me. There used to be a lot more. Okay, here we go. So, right? You see this? Y'all see this? Fish skins, huh? Dressed in fish skins. Bringing what? Look what is in his hand. That's corn. That's corn. With the seeds. Fish skins, huh? Dressed in fish skins with corn in their hand, right? Corn in their hand, man. Break out of your spells, man. Stop thinking so minute. Stop thinking so little, man. Open your eyes, man. Open your eyes, man. That's corn in his hand. He's bringing civilization to you so you can settle down. Here, man, grow this right here. You'll be able to settle down, man. Fish skins, huh? Fish skins, huh? Ha. Fish skins, huh? Fish skins, huh? Fish skins, huh? Fish god, huh? The gods, huh? The fish gods, huh? The gods, huh? Fish kings. They were dressed in fish skins, covered with stains, and wore on their heads a crown of painted reeds, interwoven with 7 ornaments like earlaps. They ate raw flesh and drank blood as we do wine. Huh, whoa, where's the source for that? Wow, no one could understand their speech. 6 of them died, and the 7th, a young man, was taken to Rouen, where the kings resided. The continuator of Palmerios recounts the same event in somewhat variant terms. In the year 1509, he says, there was carried to Rouen, a city of France, a portable boat like those that we can see in the New World. Oh, just like the ones in the New World in 1509, huh? And in it were 7 Indians of that country, who were, again, all right, I mean, I can't make this up, man. I can't make this up, guys. I know a lot of you are still having trouble with this. Like, I can't make this up. Dark reddish color. Dark reddish color, huh? Dark reddish color. Copper color, huh? Are we talking about, like, not just like an Ethiopian? Oh, that's what you mean? Like an Ethiopian. Like an Ethiopian, right? Dark reddish color. And then they're saying I'm blackwashing. So-called black. Nobody's black. But maybe dark reddish, brown, mahogany, cinnamon. Yeah, now that makes a little more sense. Like man of the woods, huh? With what? With thick lips. Thick lips, man. I'm not the one writing this. They wrote that in 1509, man. They found Indians. They washed ashore in France. They were dark reddish color, with thick lips and scars on their faces extending from the ear to the middle of the chin, and resembling livid veins crossing their cheeks. They were naked, covered only with a belt provided with a contrivance to cover their shame. They had no beard at all, no down nor a single hair, with the exception of those of the head and eyelids. It is hardly worthwhile to remark that the livid scars or violet streaks of the faces of the foreign visitors were nothing else but the fanciful colored stripes with which our aborigines still enhance their natural beauty. Okay? Definitely talking about American Indians. It seems indeed that the Americans were best acquainted with the northern parts of Europe, but they did not stop their explorations at the latitude of Brittany. Farther south, at the very heart of the Atlantic Ocean, they were seen in their barcas cubiertas, or covered boats, namely in the Azores. Okay, so Azores, Canary Islands, the Madeira Islands, and Cape Verde. Shout out to all the Cape Verdeans out there. You have a lot of American Indian heritage. I'm trying to tell you, where the Flemish discoverers and settlers admired. During the 15th century, that's the 1400s, that mysterious race of men who seemed to rise from the ocean like fish, huh? Like fish in their bivalvular shell. Like fish, huh? Like the fish gods. Like fish, huh? Because they were ocean fair, they were seafaring people, and they literally wore fish skins. So that means two different things, right? Because they're coming from the ocean, and you see the guy with the wings, right? And some depictions they have a bird's head on, an eagle's head, right? I'm gonna talk about that too. They seem like fish, huh? They seem like fish. Like fish, huh? You guys overstanding? Break out of the spells. Wake up. Activate. Activate. Who seem to rise from the ocean like fish in their bivalvular shell. We might on reliable authority extend further the list of the several discoveries of Europe by ancient Americans, if their numerous landings on European soil could be titled with this misnomer. But we venture to say that the above related facts, okay, facts, not theories. We're not talking about out of Africa theories or Bering Strait theories. We're talking about facts from primary sources. People saw them, they wrote about it, they described it, they put it in these old books way before Columbus. The books they didn't show us in school, they still don't show us. They don't even change history. We're breaking this down. We got Greek reporter watching us. He's still trying to say they came from Europe first. Like, people just want to be biased, man. Ah. So the several discoveries of the ancient Americans. So these are facts. The above related facts are proof sufficient of a thesis which would state that both the Northmen and Columbus, in making their glorious discoveries of the American continent, did no more than courageously follow the track. Listen, big one, laid out for them long before by those people whose fallen progeny has earned through its crimes and degradation to be ruled and civilized again by the Christian nations of Europe. Body bag for the illusion. You need to rewrite all these textbooks, all this history they teach us in school. What you mean? The Vikings and Columbus discovered America. What you talking about, man? They just followed the track that was laid out to them by ancient Americans. You guys heard? You guys reading it with me? Are you reading it with me? Who's the so-called Vikings, by the way? The Danes, Danites, Danes, and these other nations. They were coming anciently from America anyways. Who's Eric the Red? Was Eric the Red, you mean dark reddish? Do you mean dark reddish when you say Eric the Red, dark reddish, copper colored man? What if his ancestors were American and they calling him the Red for a reason? And you've been seeing history in reverse. And then his son, Erickson, Leif Erikson, What if they had ancient American ancestors? That's why they were going to so-called America back and forth. Written history is often the most criminal of tribunals, and we need the judgment. Oh my God, he said, he's saying we need the judgment of Hawa to correct the mistakes of the highest courts on earth, right? What does that mean? We need wisdom. You need knowledge. You need wisdom. My people went into captivity because of lack of knowledge. Isaiah, right? Isaiah told us, because you don't know who you are, man. You went into captivity, man. So you need the judgment of Hawa, the Most High, to correct the mistakes of the highest courts on earth. The highest courts, huh? The Vatican, the highest courts on earth, huh? Maritime law, huh? Correct the mistakes or intentional oppression, suppression of information. That is known long since. But in the meanwhile, we venture to say that the aboriginal inhabitants of our hemisphere have not till this day received their meed for ancient bravery. Listen, nautical skills with the ancient navigators, I'm trying to tell you, that came out of here, and wonderful attainments in geography, and in every branch of material advancement and of civilization generally. Ancient prehistoric America was indeed a civilized world. We civilized the world. Every branch of material advancement came out of America and of civilization generally. In general, I've been trying to tell you America's the true old world. People get mad at me. People get all personal. They get all touchy-feely, touchy. What you mean, man? Pangea, man, Pangea. What does Pangea have to do with what we're talking about, man? And either way, when you're talking about the oldest land, just check out what Louis Agassiz said, right? The oldest land is America. The Mayak, word Maya, Mayak means the oldest land at the bottom of the waters. You know, that part of Genesis. Let me just put it another way. A lot of you like the Bible stuff. You know that part of Genesis when he said, "Let there be land out of the waters." Well, that very first little piece of land that came out was in the Americas. All right. And then from there, people, animals, agriculture, and then eventually material advancements, every branch of material advancements and civilization in general came out of the Americas, spread out to the world. Prehistoric America was indeed a civilized world. Oh, wow, yeah. Give thanks. Thank you, Most High, for this knowledge. Thank you for waking us up during our time. Thank you. Tawada. Wa. Halalhuwa. Yahuwah. Great Spirit, we thank you. Before I go, for the dismount. We just talking about the fish gods. Yeah, doggone. And if you don't know, doggone or doggone. See, this is I gotta do this more often. We go live. You know, right? If you guys don't know, all right, just go to Strong's Concordance 1715. Doggone, right? Dogon, Dagon, Dogon, right? What does he have in his hand? What does he have in his hand? Corn, right? Corn. Dagon, grain or corn. Corn. Corn is a grain. Corn. Corn. Doggone it. I'll be doggone. Well, I'll be doggone. It means corn. It means corn. I ain't messing with AI, man. AI, I'm not messing with AI, man. And you guys should stop messing with it before it's too late. I'm just trying to warn you. You guys act like you didn't see iRobot or Terminator or The Matrix. Come on, man. I ain't messing with them. You already know what they're gonna tell me. Doggone it. Doggone it. If I knew that man corn this whole time, doggone. Doggone, man. Man, you brought the corn, right? The fish gods brought the corn, the doggone. They brought the doggone, man. The corn, man. Yeah. You guys know about the bird, man? I'm not talking about the rapper. I ain't talking about the rapper, man. I'm just talking about the mound builders, man. The Birdman tablet. Look at that. Cahokia Mounds, right? You guys know Cahokia, right? Cahokia Mounds, just in case. Well, just in case you don't know about Cahokia, one of the biggest earth mounds in the world. Hey, man, I believe there's some stone under there. I believe there's some stone under there, and they ain't letting us dig it, right? Can you dig? Can you dig? But they won't let us dig it. Can you dig? Cahokia Mounds, right? Cahokia Mounds. Can you dig it? Right? The Birdman tablet. They found the Birdman in Cahokia, and not only in Cahokia, but in several other mounds. All right? Cahokia, the Birdman, right? Back up a little bit. The Birdman, right? The bird. Why am I showing you this? The Birdman. The Birdman, right? Hold up, I ain't done. Stay with me. Don't get lost. Don't get lost. Talking about Anunnaki, man. Hey, Barry, yo, why don't you talk about the Anunnaki, man? Oh, you want to talk about the Anunnaki, huh? You want to talk about the Anawakans or Anunnaki? What are you talking about? Anawak? Anuwakin? Anuwaki? And Anuwaki is a person from ancient Mexico. In case you guys don't know. You know, we dress like eagles over here. In case you guys don't know. Right? They found it again in the mounds, in the ancient mounds, the Birdman symbology all over, right? Right? I'm gonna get to my point. I'm about to get to my point, right? The Birdman. Not just the Birdman, but the Jaguar Warrior or Black Panther, right? Like Marvel's Black Panther. The Birdman. The Birdman, huh? The Birdman. Mesoamerica. The Birdman, just like in the mounds, huh? Just like in the mounds, right? Just like in Mesoamerica, right? The Birdman, and all the way in South America as well. The Eagle Warriors, huh? Eagle Warriors, huh? Now watch this. Let's just try it out. Birdman Anunnaki. Birdman Anunnaki. The Birdman Anunnaki. Oh, the Birdman. Oh, the Birdman Anunnaki. That's oh. Oh, wake up, activate. Wake up. What's on his hand? What is the Birdman with his watch and everything? What is he carrying in his hand? Who's the first one to tell me? Huh? Huh? What does he got in his hand, guys? What does he have in his hand? The Birdman. What does he have in his hand, guys? Oh, shit. Oh, here we go. Hold up. My fault. What does he have in his hand? That's corn. Thank you, J9. That's corn. That's my E's. But that don't look like corn. That's an acorn, man. That's the pineal gland. Now, that's what they told you. That's what they told you. They don't want you to know literally that this is a real person and that he's literally holding corn. He's bringing civilization food. He got the seed bag. He got the fringes. He's dressed like an Iroquois. The clothing, listen, I've done videos on this. This Birdman, who looks like the Birdman from the mounds and the Eagle Warriors from Mesoamerica, is dressed like an American Indian, and he got corn in his hand. That's not a pine cone. You guys don't know what old corn looks like. You guys don't know what old corn looks like. Ancient corn. Let me show old ancient corn. This is undebatable. And they're very small and everything. All right, here goes your acorn. Here goes your acorn. Ancient corn is very small and it looks like acorn. A lot of the ancient corn from Peru, these aren't the best examples, but here you go, some of them. A lot of them even open up just like an acorn. Just like an acorn. I have better images on my computer. Hold on. Hold on, man. You want... Hold on. So for anybody still saying pine cone, yeah, I know. I know it looks like pine cone, man. That's what they want you to think. I know, but it's corn, man. It's corn. It's corn. And he's literally picking it out of a tree. They're not showing the whole image. He's picking it out of a tree that looks like a corn plant. That's the thing. You guys ain't paying attention to everything. He's literally picking it out of a tree that looks like a corn plant. A plant. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. I have so many images in my computer. You know, I wasn't prepared for this, but hold up. Hold up. It might pop up. So this is just one little image. So you can see the different variations. That's corn he got in his hand, the Birdman. Yeah. Yeah. We're talking about the Birdman. The Birdman. The Birdman. The Birdman. Don't get lost, man. Don't get lost in your own sauce. The Birdman, the Eagle Warrior. The Birdman. The Birdman, the Eagle Warrior, right? Birdman. The Birdman, huh? Anunnaki, huh? Anunnaki, huh? That's what they told you. They want you to think aliens build pyramids. They don't want you to know it's your ancestors civilizing the world, like we just read. In general, civilization in general came from the gods. Look at this one, looking like an acorn. You guys got to understand the ancient corn, what it looks like. Ancient. I'm talking about ancient from Peru and Americas. And not just that, okay? Hold up. Oh, man. You see, the Hindu statues have it too. The Hindu statues. Whoops. Come on. Oh, they won't open this one. Why not? There we go. The Hindu statues are holding corn. The Hindu statues in their temples are holding corn. All right. It's in my corn videos. You gotta watch my corn videos, all right? Because I got a lot of corn videos. So the Birdman, right, is holding corn. You're just holding corn. Ancient corn. Ancient corn. Ancient corn, which looks like an acorn. It's a pine cone or acorn. But listen to the word acorn. Acorn, pine cone, acorn, corn, acorn. All right. So you guys don't know Anahuac. 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 Anuwak. Anuwakan. Anuwaki. Anuwakan. Anahuac. Arawak. Historical and cultural region of Mexico. The heartland of Aztec Mexico. Anahuac. Land of the edge of the water. That part of New Spain that became independent Mexico in 1821. The original Anahuac of the Aztecs was part of the Mesa Central of Mexico. So this is way before Aztecs. Anahuac is the ancient name of central Mexico, guys. So if you're coming from Anahuac, like let's say you're from California, and he said, yo, where he's from? Well, he's a Californian. So if you're from Anahuac, hey, where's he from? He's an Anahuacan. Oh, he's an Anawaki. He's a what? Anawaki. I can't pronounce that, man. Anuwaka, Anunnaki, Anawaki, Anunnaki. I can't say Anuwaki, man. I'm gonna say Anunnaki, man. I'm gonna say Anunnaki, man. I'm gonna say Anunnaki, man. I can't pronounce that right. You guys gotta understand there's a language barrier when people are traveling the world and then these words get See, you believe Sakario Sitchin, right? I know you guys believed Sakario Sitchin, right? You know he didn't know no Sumerian, right? Because that's not Sumerian. That's not no Sumerian. That doesn't exist. That's an Assyrian script. That's Assyrian, those tablets. That cuneiform, that's Assyrian. I'm going to tell you why you believed him. Don't mention the Chazars. You guys didn't know there was gatekeepers, huh? We've been fooled so much. We've been fooled so much. The Karyasician was born into a Chazar family in Baku, the capital of the Soviet Azerbaijan. You didn't know he was a Chazar, huh? Anuwaki? What are you talking about, man? Anuwaki? Oh, Anunnaki? Anuwaki? Oh. Can I prove all this I'm saying? Hey, you just gotta be logical, man. You gotta have a foundation and ground yourself. Stop thinking aliens and spinning on a ball all the time. You gotta just not be dizzy. Let's be logical sometimes, man. Let's just be logical sometimes. Just talking about the bird, man. Just talking about the bird, man. The bird, man. All right. We're gonna leave it there. I hope that helps a little bit. I hope there was people who actually needed to see this stuff so they can wake up. Talking about the pineal gland. Open up your pineal gland, man. If you're talking about the pineal gland, then open it up. Open up your third eye. You got to really see and read between the lines of what they've been telling us all our lives, man. We're just talking about the bird, man. Yes. Yes, Cimarron, Aya, Awa. What's up, brother? Female Noah, Street Oracle. You already know. Mad everybody up in here. Thank you. Hey, Carrie, Eric, Christina. I see you, my Cherry, Joe, Oro, Migmad, Jackie, Shannon, Shayla, Scion Train. We're going to Zion like a lion to Zion. Mount Zion is right here in the Americas, guys, if you didn't know. Shout out Daisy, Parquet, Marlon, man, Logic, Montaño. Hey, so many people here today. Derek, James, man, and I appreciate all of you guys here. Charisse the realist, Alego. Alego. Let go. Yo, shout out to everybody that's doing this. Again, shout out to the good brothers out there teaching everybody real info. I know it's hard not to be biased, even us, we're all biased a little bit, but at least I try to show you why I'm a little biased. I try to show you the sources and the proof. All right. Shout out, hey, Ward, 1933. Shout out to everybody here, Kamar. If I didn't say J9, Daisy, Alik Cheetah, Okla, TS, Olmec 12, baby. Talking about Olmec 12. We're gonna leave with one of Olmec 12 songs or instrumentals. Hey, Dragon Sage, appreciate you up in here, man. All of you. If I didn't say your names, because it's too many names to go through. Migdalia, appreciate you, Mad. MJ, 19th Galaxy, Jashawn. Yeah. Catch a fire. Catch a fire. You're gonna get burned. Yeah. Yeah. RNN. Appreciate everybody in here. Trying to give a shout out. Dev D, of course, man. Trying to give a shout out to everybody. Joshua Trees. Yeah, Joshua Trees. You already know. You already know. Peace, peace. Tia Roberta, how you doing? Know yourself. Know yourself, man. Appreciate all you guys here. Know yourself for real. Shout out to Olmec for this instrumental. We out. We out. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Sometimes I like going live and talking to y'all directly. Hey, shout out to what's his name, man? Carver T. Is it Carver T? Carver T, man. I talked to a good brother, met him. Yeah, he's doing big things. He knows a lot of industry people, and he's been watching me, and he wants to collab and help me out. And I just hope Hawa turns that to fruition, like makes it happen, Hawa, wherever people's hearts at, I hope Hawa makes that happen, man. And he connects with the good people. Yeah. I'm not kidding, guys. The guy knows a lot of industry people. Got a lot of influence. He's a real person. I'm talking about real. One of the realest, man. Like nobody you F with. Somebody you don't F with. You know what I mean? Who now has a lot of influence in the industry. All right. So Hawa's gonna make it happen. Wajabi boys, thank you for Gabi Rose, thank you coming through. Shannon Townsend, thank you for everybody coming through. Appreciate y'all. Much love and respect. Pura vida, mi gente. Wow. Ascension by Olmec 12.
Wow.